fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, Yozori, Evinrude, and the Star Island Yacht Club Shark Tournament.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. I'm going to start off this week's report with a tease of an article which is due out in next week's June monthly edition of the Fisherman magazine. If you recall, announced earlier this spring, the Fisherman magazine teamed up with Navionics and Gray Fish Tag Research to put pop-up archival satellite tags into a pair of large, breeding class female striped bass this year. You can read the details of the project right now at thefisherman.com, as well as checking back at the April print edition of the magazine or online at the digital archive. Well, the tagging is complete as we spent a day earlier this week fishing on the lower Hudson River. The first fish to be tagged was a 42-incher landed by Paul Michelle of Navionics. Freedom, as she has been named, was caught just east of Ellis Island at the mouth of the Hudson River. You can see a picture of Freedom right here along with Gray's Leah Bumwall, as well as Fin Chaser's Dave Rooney. Keep an eye out for a full video recapping the tagging expedition next week, as well as a complete recap of the expedition in the June print issue of the Fisher magazine, which hits newsstands and your mailbox and the website by May 30th. All right, moving along before I get into this week's reports, I actually want to direct you to a couple of upcoming fishing tournaments, which the Fisherman magazine is proud to be involved in sponsoring. First up, we've got the 10th annual Stars and Stripers Fishing Tournament hosted by the New England Patriots Alumni Club. Now, this is a catch and release tournament in which you have the opportunity to hang out with your favorite Patriots alumni while also helping to raise funds to support local youth football programs through the Football for You program. The tournament will take place on June 8th. It's based out of Falmouth, Massachusetts. And as always, complete details can be seen right now by visiting thefisherman.com and checking out both our events listing as well as the news item on the tournament. And then the following weekend, that would be June 15th, we've got the 14th annual Fluke Till Ya Puke tournament as it takes over Rhode Island waters. And just like their flyer says, this is the largest fluke fishing tournament in the galaxy. With over 1,000 anglers coming in from all over the Northeast and beyond, there are some huge prizes and mega payouts to be awarded this year if you bag that doormat fluke. So register today and don't miss out. Once again, you can see all the details at thefisherman.com, both in the events calendar as well as in the news brief section right now. All right, and speaking of fluke, the Francis fleet reports some mixed results over the last week or so fishing off of the Rhode Island coast, both on the beaches as well as over at Block Island. Let's see, for example, Saturday's trip was decent with a pair of fish right around 6 pounds or so, fighting it out for top honors and taking the pool. But then Sunday's follow-up trip had wind plus tide and resulted in difficult fishing due to the cranking drift that they had with those two combining. They also had some mixed squid trips results over the last week with some really big tubes and great action coming up on Saturday night's trip. Buckets around the boat. But then they found a tough night on Sunday where the squid were hugging tight to the bottom. Much heavier weights than expected were required to get down to them, and they were somewhat finicky. But nonetheless, they're running these night squid trips every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so long as the bite holds up and interest is there. As always, though, for the squid trips, reservations are required. So call the office at 1-800-662-2824 or visit francisfleet.com to book your spots. While you're there, you can book any of the trips that they've got this year, from the tuna to fluke to blackfish, whatever they got sailing, you can take care of all of it right there, both on the website as well as through the phone number. And let's see, continuing along, as I noted last week, my buddy Captain Greg from the Blackhawk ran his first calamari safari on Friday night, and he reports downright excellent action all night long with some impressive tubes coming over the rails. Now he's running another one of these trips on Friday and Saturday nights this weekend, so long as the weather cooperates. So check out blackhawksportfishing.com right now to book your spot if you want to join in. But if getting covered in ink isn't your definition of having a good time of fishing, the Black Hawk is also sailing for porgies and their related friends like fluke, striped bass, weakfish, and bluefish, along with some catch and release black sea bass in Peconic Bay, where sea bass season remains closed. All those other species are wide open, and they're doing really, really well. These trips sail every Saturday and Sunday, as well as any of the weekdays where the weather looks good and they don't already have a private trip scheduled. So again, head on over to the website. You can verify when they're sailing, as well as book your trip right there. Speaking of those porgies, heard from TJ Biroscak. He landed a pair of mega porgies while he's fishing off of Milford this week, and the bigger one weighed 2.76 pounds when he weighed it in over at Bobby J's. He said he also landed some really big squid, with one of them going 21.5 inches total length, and then he got word of a mega squid landed by a friend of his in the same area off of Milford with a tube length of just over 15 inches. Now that second one there, if certified, would be the new state record, so I'll let you know if I find out anything about that. But it just goes to show that squid just seem to be making themselves known everywhere this year. Massachusetts right now, you can get them off of Rhode Island, in Connecticut, getting them from shore, getting them from boat. They are all over the place. So let's just hope that this squid action holds up, because it's only going to help improve striper fishing, as well as obviously fluke fishing when the waters warm up a little bit. Squid are a very highly sought after food source. So fingers crossed for that. And let's see, moving over to the East Bay, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Heard from TJ Kopecki. He sent me his report via email this week. He's unable to shoot a video, as he's been doing the last couple of weeks. But he wanted to say that he had some bluefish in the area. They invaded the Warren and Barrington rivers, making for some really good action. Also found some striped bass up to the mid 30-inch class in the Warren River on Friday night. Also heard of some big scup in Mount Hope Bay, and literally just as I was getting ready to put this video together, he sent me over a picture of and a report of a 13-pound blackfish that was weighed in this week in Rhode Island. No exact details on specifically where or how it was caught, but nonetheless, that is a mega spring tog. And then also in the bay, got word of the first 50-pound striper in Rhode Island waters this year. It was a 52.25-pound bass caught Monday. Supposedly it was landed on a live bunker, or pogie, as they're referred to in Rhode Island waters. Didn't have too much more details on it, but down closer to me here in Connecticut, heard from Nick Kanaras once again. He checked in to say that he fished the lower Connecticut River this weekend, found lots of schoolie bass. I didn't have too much success on topwater, which he started out with, but once he and his fishing partner Tyler Wilcox switched over to soft plastics, they started banging fish. And Tyler landed the biggest fish of the outing, a solid 34-incher, again on the soft plastics. Again, that was the ticket. A couple other guys that I spoke to have been fishing the river. They've been finding bass, but it's been a bit of a struggle at times to locate them. We just don't have that bunker that's moved in there yet, so fingers crossed the bunkers show up soon. And then changing gears, heading up the Gulf of Maine. Heard from Captain Rich, the Black Rose Fishing Charters. He's been targeting haddock, which has been pretty good on most of the outings, but one of his clients hooked into a surprise catch over the weekend when a 68-pound, 53-inch halibut took his haddock jig. Hopefully see some more of these real doormats caught this year, as I would love to get up there and get in on the action. I've never caught a halibut, and that would be an awesome catch to add. If not, those of you want to head up, give it a shot as well, and be sure to send me pictures. And then sticking up in the Gulf of Maine, our friends at the Yankee Fleet have been doing really well on mixed variety bottom fish, including, we're getting redfish, pollock, haddock, and of course, those non-existent throwback Gulf of Maine cod, which seem to be everywhere but nowhere, depending on who you ask. The Yankee Fleet runs half-day, full-day, multi-day marathon trips. They sail every day the weather allows, so check out their website right now, yankeefleet.com, to see when they plan to sail and to book your spot at the rail. And then last up this week, I got a picture. Not a whole lot of freshwater reports coming through, but I did get a nice shot of a beautiful golden trout landed by Luke Brogno of Pawcatuck this week. Now, He went over the line over into Rhode Island waters, was fishing in Richmond when he landed the nice golden, so congrats on that catch. Just a reminder, there's a bunch of golden trouts that were stocked in a bunch of lakes here across Rhode Island this year. If you get one, be sure to take a picture and send it on in to RIDEM, as they are awarding these beautiful golden trout pins for any of the trout that are caught this year. All right, it's a lot going on this week, but nonetheless shows that there's a lot of options heading into the weekend. So as always, I'm Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.
Win the incredible Steigercraft Evinrude Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package and more in the Fisherman's 2019 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details now at thefisherman.com.